news that's coming in at the moment. High-level multidisciplinary committee has now been formed. This is a committee that will look at this will probe the investigation of the Ahmedabad plane crash. Committee to examine the existing SOPs and the guidelines. Committee will also submit a report within the next 3 months. Thorough investigation will now take place. A high-level committee has been formed. This is a multidisciplinary committee which will now look at the Ahmedabad plane crash. My colleague Shivani Sharma is joining me on the story. Shivani, this is very crucial. What's even more crucial, in the next 3 months, we will say the committee examining the existing SOPs, the guidelines, what exactly went wrong, and the next 3 months, that's the time given to this high-level multidisciplinary committee to submit their report.
That goes on to know the reasons of this crash. There is another high-level multidisciplinary committee that has been now constituted by the Ministry of Civil Aviation for to know the causes of that led to the crash of Air India flight AI-171. And this committee will be examining all the aspects and the standard operating procedures and guidelines that have been issued to prevent and handle such occurrences. And it will also tell that what was the reason, were these SOPs followed or not, and it will also ensure comprehensive guidelines should be followed by all the pilots to deal with any kind of situation and to avoid such crashes. So this committee will not be a substitute to the other inquiries that are already going on that have been conducted, but this is additional committee that has been made responsible solely to look after that all the SOPs and guidelines are followed by the pilots.
Right. Thank you, Shivani, giving us all those details. A high-level committee has been formed by the government. This committee will examine the existing SOPs and guidelines, what exactly went wrong and what led to the plane crash in Ahmedabad. That's something that this committee will now examine. Now, investigations have intensified to unearth the actual cause of the fatal Air India plane crash in Ahmedabad. A routine flight turned into a deadly disaster. 242 passengers on board, but there's only one survivor. The black box, it is very critical in the crash investigation, has been recovered from the rooftop of the charred student hostel. Along with it, the emergency locator transmitter has also been retrieved. Both are now being examined to decode what caused the fatal plunge. This black box is actually the brain of the aircraft. It is placed at the rear, at the tail. It records critical flight data and cockpit voices even during crashes or explosions. From pilot warnings to sudden altitude drop, the black box can reveal aircraft's final moments and bring out the truth behind the crash. Amid all this, Indian Civil Aviation Body has also ordered an immediate safety audit of the entire fleet of Air India's Boeing 787 Dreamliner. Air India has also extended full transparency and cooperation in the ongoing crash probe, as well as promised to take care of the medical expenses of all those who have been injured.
Give us a sense to our viewers, as you now have had more time to digest and look at the visuals very carefully, what is this wing flap theory that you believe in some way stopped the flight from getting the necessary thrust, power and altitude?
Well, what we can observe from the video of the airplane is that, at least for the initial takeoff roll, both engines were producing sufficient thrust to go in flight. You can see that as they take off, the dirt off the side of the runways is dusting up. So they're at full power when they're taking off. They have a normal rotation. What doesn't happen after takeoff is the gear never comes up. And that would happen about 50 to 100 feet. The pilot flying would request the gear to be raised. That never happens. The aircraft shortly after that loses lift. And you could lose lift for a number of reasons. It could be a dual power loss. That's, in my mind, the least likely of the occasions, because we can see that the engines are operating fine as they do the takeoff roll. The other would be that something changed the configuration of the wing so that the flaps were not in a position to create that extra lift. If the airplane loses lift while the gear is down at that slow speed, it's going to do exactly what you saw on the video, which is it's going to begin to waddle and descend, and just you're kind of in a power on descent until it impacts the ground.